Good afternoon, KWYP members. We are continuing our Ignite series, and today we have Rosalyn Luna with us sharing Negotiating the Deal, which is Ignite Power Session number 10. And if you guys have any questions during this presentation, please go ahead and use the questions or chat box on the GoToWebinar panel and send them our way. And at the end of Rosalyn's presentation, we'll go through and answer any questions that you may have. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to you, Rosalyn.
Thanks, Ozzy. I'm excited to be here today reviewing how to teach the Ignite session, Negotiate the Deal for KWYP. So as Ozzy said, I'm Rosalyn Luna. I'm the expansion partner for the Papazan Properties Group in St. Louis, Missouri. Started off in Austin 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago with Wendy. And at first I started off as an assistant and then worked my way up to director of operations. And then when I made the move here to St. Louis, I was promoted to expansion partner, and I made the transition from an operations role to a sales role. So prior to real estate, I was actually a teacher and a trainer for an education company, so teaching has always been a passion of mine. I love collaborating with others and helping others understand the material, and I have always learned best through teaching. So when I want a deeper understanding on a particular topic, I always choose to go out there and teach it, because then it helps me as well. So one of the questions that you all wanted us to answer, being experienced Ignite instructors, was how do we become involved teaching Ignite? And like I said before, you know, I was a teacher, so any opportunity I could have to give back to the Market Center, I always took advantage of. When I started in Austin with Wendy, she was teaching Ignite. She's also very learning-based, so she was teaching most of the listing consultation courses for Ignite, and whenever she needed a sub, I would step in and help out and teach those listing courses as well. Once I moved to St. Louis, I took Ignite all over again, just to make sure that I was seeing it through the lens of a salesperson instead of operations and assistants. So I took Ignite all over again, and then I decided to teach it. And this was right about the time they were beta testing it. And I was lucky enough to be in the Chesterfield, Missouri Market Center. We got an opportunity to beta test the current Ignite, and I taught that. A few sessions of that right away, and I just continued with Negotiate the Deal because it's my favorite session. I feel like you can get a lot of use out of this in your professional and also personal life. So we negotiate every single day, and we have to learn to be good negotiators. So this just gave me a deeper understanding of that and how to apply that to my real estate business, and that's why I've continued to teach this course in every session of Ignite since. So like I said before, I started teaching Ignite at the Southwest Market Center, kind of here and there, and then here in the Chesterfield, Missouri Market Center, I really started with Find Your Business and then Negotiate the Deal, because I wanted to focus on areas where I felt I could strengthen myself. So like I said before, I always am interested in giving back and also learning something along the way. I understood that if I wanted to really get better at negotiating and better at lead generation and using that as a foundation of my new business, my new real estate career in sales here in Missouri, I knew that I had to not only take these classes multiple times, but also teach them multiple times so that I can get that deeper level of understanding. So as far as what the benefits are of teaching Ignite, I mean, there are innumerable benefits. Not only do you learn the material, you can also really collaborate with other agents in your market center. You can meet the newer agents in your market center. I always recommend that veteran agents who are looking to just ramp up their business also retake Ignite, especially with the new format. I'm sure that there are agents out there that could benefit even if they've been in this industry many years. There are great activities, great tools, and it's just a great way to reinvigorate your business, because it just instills very good habits from the start. So if you can go through all of Ignite, doing all of the homework and making sure that you're reporting your numbers and having a high level of ability day one, it's just going to propel your business to a whole new level, no matter where you are in your real estate career. It's always good to just kind of jump back into a group that's going to instill those good habits in you. Regardless if you're a veteran that works mainly off referrals, it can't hurt to reach out to those referral partners and to your sphere, and also to just brush up on your negotiation skills as well. So that's what I've gotten out of teaching Ignite, and I just really see a potential for much more, not only in terms of what I learned through the material and the collaboration with the other agents. Also, I've been given opportunities for open houses through Ignite. That's a great way to obviously bolster your business and meet new people. And when I started here in St. Louis, I didn't know anyone, so I really needed to do open houses as often as possible. And because I didn't know anyone and because I was starting a new business, I didn't have any listings. So Ignite was a great way to meet other agents, meet the instructors, who are typically on the ALC and will have listings that they need held open. So it gave me an opportunity to really kind of form those relationships early on and really learn what it would take to be super successful in this business. I mean, one of the things that I love most about Keller Williams is not only do they give you all of these wonderful tools like we're about to see and negotiate the deal, they also give you the opportunity to really collaborate with your fellow agents in your market center and learn the business and collaborate and work together. I have given out open house opportunities for newer agents in my Ignite classes. I've gotten open house opportunities in my Ignite classes, and I've also gotten referrals because since I'm an expansion partner, we have the hub based in Austin. So there were a couple of opportunities that people, had some connection to Austin and connections to Texas in general that I got because I was teaching or in Ignite. So it's a huge way to broaden your referral base and just learn more overall. As far as organizing, negotiate the deal, as you can tell, I pulled up the instructor guide, and this is just such an amazing tool. Unless you've been in the education world and the teaching world, you don't really appreciate how awesome it is to have the lesson plan completely filled out for you and basically a script to follow. So it's really well organized already. I don't normally change anything because it happens to follow kind of my teaching philosophy, which is, you want to explain the material and introduce the material to the students, right? Go over what the topics you're going to be discussing. So what are the expectations for the day? We already have those lined up. And then you talk about what you're going to do that day. I'm just going to kind of plow through the 10-4 reporting. And then you're going to give them an opportunity to try it out, to do an activity, so to apply the learning. So you introduce the material, you take them through it, you go through it together, you answer questions, and then finally you give them an opportunity to role play and really dive into the material themselves, and you'll find that that's the best way to learn any new material, because you get an opportunity to hear it, see it, touch it, feel it, and then kind of work with it yourself to make it your own. I think it's a great way to organize the material, and that's how I used to organize my previous material, so I'm totally familiar with it. The other thing that I really love about the way that it's organized is before you even start, it's talking about how this particular portion of Ignite fits into the larger scheme of things so that people know exactly where they are at any point in the class. And they really understand how it relates to this right here, this payday. Because that's the goal, right? we love leads, we love going on appointments, we love having clients sign contracts and agreements and all of that. At the end of the day, though, if they don't close, then all that was for nothing. So we want to make sure that the students see the relevance of the material and they put that right up front. So it's just organized beautifully. I wouldn't mess with it too much. The thing that I will say about the organization is when I'm preparing to teach Ignite, I always do the prep work, you know, the videos first, then I go through the material, then I go back and kind of see how it's all organized. I just like watching all of the videos at once instead of going per section. It just helps me kind of organize it in my mind and understand the material a little bit better. So that's really the main difference of what I do when I prepare to present, negotiate the deal. I don't really have anything special to add in that capacity. But I will say that, you know, I found that most of the students in my class, most of the agents that I've worked with tend to be tactile learners. So giving them the opportunity to role play, do not skip those activities. They are vital to really cementing the material in their mind. So a lot of people, when they're teaching this particular one, it has a lot of activities. So you might feel tempted to kind of skip one here and there if you're running a little late, if you had a lot of questions about a particular topic. I would urge you that you do not want to cut out any of the activities in this section because they are great. And I'll talk a little bit more about my favorite one a little later on. So here it introduces the topic, and it really talks to them about how this is applied. They already negotiate every single day of their lives. They've been doing it for years, so this is no different. This is just learning some common negotiation tips and strategies, and also common negotiation points within a real estate transaction. So it's applying what they already know about negotiation and then taking it and applying it to real estate, which they may or may not be familiar with. So this is a great way to introduce the topic. It puts them at ease. And another thing that I will say as the instructor of this course here in Chesterfield, I picked it because I didn't feel like I was the best negotiator. So don't feel like you have to be perfect in order to teach that particular lesson in Ignite. I would urge you to push yourself to teach something that you would like to get better at, because that's how you're going to get better, by teaching the material, by really understanding it at a deep level, and then hearing the questions, participating in the discussion sections, and doing. You'll find that you'll actually really improve in whatever area you're teaching, because you're just doing it more often and you're engaging with the material more. One of the highlights and the practical examples that I use is my 5-year-old daughter, actually, because she is one of the best negotiators I've ever met. And I find that most people in the classes can relate to that because they've had some teenager or some child in their life that they know that is always negotiating with them for bedtime or for snacks or for, you know, going to the park or whatever. So staying out later. So I like to use practical personal examples because first it puts them at ease. I feel like the audience, when they hear a practical personal example like that, they feel like, you know, I'm reaching out to them, I'm opening up to them, I'm being more personable, and then I'm also applying it to everyday life so that it's not as daunting, because learning the business of real estate can feel daunting at times, especially when you're new in the business and you haven't had any real estate experience prior to coming to Ignite. It can feel like you're drinking from a fire hose at times. So bringing in some personal examples and showing them how they already know these things and they know how to do it. They just need to learn to apply it in a different context. Really helps put them at ease and really helps set up the activities so that they're more open to trying them out. I found that not everyone is as outgoing as I am in Ignite. So, you know, it helps to get them to open up and to really, really participate in those activities, particularly if they're new agents. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that the videos in this section are spectacular. The video particularly that Josh does is great, so definitely watch that with the group and talk about these questions. You know, definitely take advantage of all of the questions that the Ignite instructor guide gives you, because they lead to great discussions after the videos, and really you'll have some great ahas from hearing what the audience's takeaways were from the video. So take advantage of those for sure. And what I am flipping through is just the 2 or 3 sections of this Negotiate the Deal course guide that I really feel have benefited me personally the most, and then also the students say that are their favorite sections. So here is the common points of negotiation in a real estate transaction. This is how we're applying what we already know about negotiation to an actual real estate transaction, which, you know, most of the people in the Ignite class haven't gotten to yet, so they're a little afraid of it. They don't really know what to expect in this realm, and this is going to help them a lot when you tell them, listen, you know, these are the common points of negotiation, and that's pretty much it. You're not really going to, you know, negotiate anything else outside of this. It helps calm their fears that, you know, every conversation with the other agent or every conversation with their client is going to be contentious or scary or, you know, this huge negotiation. It's not really. These are the main points of negotiation, and often you will not negotiate all of these with every single client and with every single other agent. So really, if you can familiarize yourself with these particular common points of negotiation and feel comfortable using scripts for all of them, for your clients and then for the other person, you'll be just fine. So because we're now working in a realm that most of the newer agents haven't even approached yet, that's why they can be a little hesitant with participating in this section, because they say, well, you know, I've never had to negotiate a deal. I haven't had my first deal yet. So, you know, it's easy to bring in those personal examples and just say, hey, listen, you know, you've already done this and you can continue to do this just in a different context. So this really helps to calm them down about the different ways that they're going to be negotiating with their clients and then with other agents. And then this gives them a step-by-step strategy on how to negotiate. So again, we're providing the material for them, we're walking them through it, we're introducing them to how to best prepare and present and position their side of the negotiation for maximum success, and then we're going to allow them to model that behavior and to role play that behavior. So it's just beautifully organized. I just love whoever wrote and continues to improve the Ignite classes. I mean, they're just geniuses over there at KWRI. It's awesome. And, you know, you as the instructor don't have to do much work, because it even gives you questions to ask the audience. This is great. This is a dream for former teachers. Here is one of my favorite activities. It's the prepare to negotiate. So it gives you a scenario that's very common in real estate, and then it gives them the opportunity to prepare that negotiation, and then we finally talk about presenting their side of the negotiation. This section right here that talks about nonverbal cues is probably the funniest section of the whole Negotiate the Deal. I find people tell me that I have a very expressive face. I make a lot of faces when I talk, and you can probably tell what I'm thinking at any one moment when you look at my face. So I'm very good at teaching this section because I can do the face-to-face very well, and everybody gets, whether it's a positive positive interaction or negative interaction, or kind of how if I'm feeling defensive in that interaction, and it gets a lot of laughs. So that's probably the point in the negotiate the deal class, that we get up, and I actually have them do it too. So everyone gets up. It's an opportunity to get the blood flowing, get them moving around a little bit if they've been in their chairs for a while, and then also trying out the different expressions to see if they can tell what the other party is feeling. And then also a little harder when we're doing the on the phone expressions and feedback, I have them turn away from each other so that they can't see each other, because they're not going to be able to see the other party on the phone, and see if they can still kind of tell what the cues are over the phone. And you can. I mean, you can even tell when someone's smiling over the phone. That's why we have a mirror in front of us when we do our lead gen. So anyway, those are a few of my favorite activities. And that one definitely gets a lot of laughs. So that's a kind of pick-me-up in the section. And I don't know if this was just by happenstance or they did it on purpose. I feel like the fact that they put these two very kind of funny, upbeat, and energetic activities back to back in the middle of the session, I think was genius, because Ignite can be a little long, you know, it's 3 hours, and it serves as a pick-me-up right in the middle of the session to get them, you know, interested in the material, and then up and working and doing something that they find exciting and fun. So kudos to whoever organized this particular Ignite class. I think that was super smart. And then here is the next practice activity. And this one's great because it really gets them comfortable with negotiating with another agent. Newer agents get very, very nervous when presenting the first offer. I mean, everybody does, I think. So this is a situation where it's a multiple offer situation, and you get the opportunity to role play the buyer agent role and the listing agent role. So this is great practice. I mean, I know a lot of markets, particularly in Austin and St. Louis, you know, it's a seller's market. There are a lot of multiple offer situations. So getting practice before you even have a multiple offer situation is great for any newer agent or any agent in general. And getting practice as a listing agent for multiple offers is great as well. You know, one funny thing that I learned was that not all listing agents like multiple offers. Crazy, I know. I learned this because I was representing a buyer, and the house was expecting an offer, and I had a listing agent from another company that shall remain nameless actually tell me not to submit an offer because it would stress them out to have more than one offer. So that just tells me that they don't have very good training over there, because how are you doing the best for your listing client, your seller, if you do not want to get multiple offers on their house? It just blew me away. So, you know, we take for granted a lot of the material, a lot of the tools and resources that we have here at Keller Williams, and I just, you know, want to say that they are spectacular, and we should all be taking Ignite over again if you haven't taken it since the new reboot. And I would urge all of you to teach at least one session of Ignite, because you will get better at your job no matter which session it is, particularly if you choose something that you don't feel you're the best at. I think that it is wonderful to teach Ignite. I think if I could share one thing that I would tell anyone who's teaching this negotiate the deal for the first time, is that you don't have to be an expert negotiator. In fact, it's probably better if you don't feel all that confident, because you will learn so much by teaching the course, and you will be such a better instructor because you really feel and understand where your students are at that moment in time. So if you can relate to them and you can teach where they are at that level, I think that you will come across as not only knowledgeable, personable, but also someone that they would like to do business with in the future. So that's That's all I have for you guys today. I don't know if we want to open up, have a few minutes left for questions. Ozzy, did you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. The first question that we received was, um, what is the most common negotiating mistake new agents make, and how can they fix it?
Wow, well, that's a great question. I would say, well, first of all, that newer agents tend to underestimate how much they're worth. So, particularly when you're on a listing appointment and a seller wants to negotiate your commission, it is so important not to give in to the temptation and think to yourself, well, I'm new, so therefore I don't deserve the full commission on this, and I'm kind of still learning, so I don't feel like I'm worth that amount. Believe me, you're worth it, and you will regret ever negotiating that down. So I would say that that is a case where a lot of newer agents, they decide to do themselves a disservice and their future clients a disservice. If you think about it this way, when you negotiate your commission, then you really, to be fair, you would have to negotiate for everyone, because why would you charge one client a different amount than another client? Do you plan on giving them less service? Probably not. So if you're going to put forth the same effort for every single client, then you should charge them all the same amount. So I would say that's probably the biggest negotiation mistake newer agents make.
Yeah, great. The next question we received was, you were mentioning nonverbal cues earlier. What's a good tip for those people who show nonverbal cues on their face? Like, how can they manage that?
Well, if I knew the answer to that, maybe I would be able to manage that a little bit better. Um, well, one thing that I did learn through my last session of Bold, I just took Bold when it was here most recently with James Shaw. Huge shout out to James. He was awesome. Learned so much. And he talked about how Diana Kokoska, before she gets on the phone with anyone, or if she has had a challenging experience with a particular agent or a client or anyone, before she actually answers that phone call, she sees the number, she repeats this mantra, and it helps her going into that conversation. And the mantra is, I love you, I care about you. I love you, I care about you. So when you say that and you are um, thinking about a particular person that may be a little combative, or you've just had some weird interaction with that you don't feel totally comfortable with, saying that mantra really does help. I've tried it myself, and it has helped calm me down, because usually when I'm having an overreaction to something, or I'm having some type of negative feeling about something, it's truly because I'm in judgment of that person for whatever reason. So taking that away and just saying, hey, listen, I'm going to enter into this conversation as positively as I can with these good intentions, that just helps the whole thing go smoother and calms me down, so I'm not making all these crazy faces.
Awesome. That was great. Those were all the questions that we received today. I just want to let all our KWYP members know that we can keep the discussion going on the KWYP website. If you have any questions for Rosalyn, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll make sure that that gets answered. And thank you so much, Rosalyn, for spending your afternoon with us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.